What if we're in a simulation? Then does space exploration matter?
What is going on? I am leaving. Sorry. Network is gone. What is going on? No, no, no. Hi guys, welcome to the second episode of the Fright Circuit. I'm Aadarsh Agarwal, and today I have Shikhar Sehgal and Abhiram Cherukupalli with us today. So Abhiram's basically like a physics research geek, and he's been interested in physics for like the past few years, and we've got to know each other through the IYPT. And Shikhar, of course, is from school itself. He's a member of the FSA club. So today we're going to have a bit of a discussion on this podcast as to what we see as the future of physics and in the future of science in general, and in particular like space colonization, space exploration. And that's why those brilliant backgrounds. But yeah, I'm going to give Abhiram the opportunity to introduce himself.
Yeah, hello. So I'm Abhiram from Kota, Rajasthan. So I study there, but as you can see from my background, I'm in space. So I'm colonizing space. So yeah, so I'm interested in physics, and yeah, so I wanted to I want to work at NASA or some place, or I want to be a condensed matter physicist. So I'm not really sure. I am a bit skeptical on aeronaut like space colonization in general. So we'll have a discussion on that. It's going to be a philosophical and scientific discussion because there are some stuff that we need to do. And let's move on to Shikhar.
Hi. As Adarsh said, I also study in the same school as him, which is Cathedral, and I'm junior to him by 1 year. And I'm very fond of mathematics, and I enjoy the concepts of physics and engineering as well. I have strong beliefs about the future of space exploration and the future of space colonization, and I want to be an aerospace engineer. So I feel like I have the right to speak on the topic.
Okay, so I think since everyone's introductions are done, I think we can just to begin with, we can put like since we're talking about the future of physics or like the future of humanity in general, I think the first question is like, where do you see humanity like 200 years later? Like, what do you think Earth or like humanity or civilization itself should look like? Like, Abhiram, Shikhar, do you all want to go first?
Yeah, so I'll go through. Yeah, so there are a lot of problems on Earth. Let's say there's global warming, there is asteroid threats, but yeah, so that's why we don't know where we're going to be in 200 years. We don't even know what's going to happen after 20-25 years. It could be an asteroid coming, we don't know, but hopefully we're going to survive for the next 100 years at least. And then if we are able to reverse global warming, we could be able to survive until sun explodes into a supernova. Not
That's
supernova,
3 billion years.
it
That's
becomes
like,
red
isn't that
giant.
3
Sorry.
billion more years? Or how many more years is that?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't
So
remember.
we'll live until I grow a beard. So yeah, we can do that. Yeah. So yeah, space colonization in general as an philosophy and an idea, it's like science. I believe it's obvious that it's the next thing that humanity has to do, but I don't think it is ethically or technologically possible for us to achieve that level. So I want to just discuss with I want to just ask Adarsh, like, does he think like I just have a problem with us, let's say, leaving Earth and then going to Mars, let's say. I just have a problem with that. Like, we are leaving so many issues here on Earth and just escaping from Earth. So don't you think
So, look, no, I
humans
mean,
are like
like if you, no, no. So I get like I think the main thing if you ever say like if you
yeah,
go to
just
anybody,
I just want to say something. So I want to
sorry,
like,
sorry.
do you think leaving us Earth in, let's say, shambles, like, are we sure that proves that we are ready to colonize space? Just forget technological advancements. In just terms of cultural, social, and moral, like infrastructure, do you think if we just leave a planet in shambles and just go there, do you think we are ready to colonize space?
So I think that's the main like if you ever go to anyone and ask them, do you think space exploration is like the future or something? They'll every single person would be like, it's too much money. It's like, first fix Earth. Why do you want to go to Mars? I think that's the most general hated thing that comes to like if you say that we want to leave the planet. But like if you look at the way we're currently spending money, like sure, if that's your argument that we should first try to fix Earth itself and then try to move to places, I don't think that's ever happened in history, and that's ever I don't see that happening the way we're spending money. Like we've never been able to fix something and then move on. Like if when people were leaving, like the old explorers, like when Vasco da Gama was leaving Spain or whatever he was leaving, he did not wait until Spain had reached every single person on Spain had reached like eternal glorification and then leave out to explore the planet, right? You don't you don't ever perfect something. Like if we
That's
just
my point, right? That's my point. Do you even think humanity is ready to be? Don't you think we have to improve that infrastructure, our
huh,
cultural,
so
social
I think
infrastructure?
so I think that's the perfect example. Like those explorers, they did not wait to say that, oh, are we like at that time? Do you think there were not like plagues, like plaguing every single person? Like, do you think people were not dying of like basic medical issues? Do you not think there was like a great wealth divide? Like, this is probably the most like liberal, most diverse like society or like world we live in as compared to what it was then when people in like wooden ships would have set sail through oceans to explore what they would have not even known. I think we're at the same position as them. And like for them to be able to do that, I think like if we're comparing their society to ours, it's exactly the same thing. Because even for us, we say that we want to fix the earth, but if you look at the amount of money that space exploration even gets, like I know it's a really cliche example, but it's half a cent on on $100 bill, right? As compared to the defense budget, it's like trillions of dollars for US, for India, for any other country. Compare that to the amount that, well, if you're claiming that's the future of humanity, then how much does space exploration really get? How much on the other side it does saving the earth get as compared to defense? So I think the
So
goal
yeah, so my
itself is a
point is,
bit
I'm not against space
Personally,
exploration,
personally, I
obviously.
totally agree with what he's saying, but I just don't know how ready we are for this. We're not really nearing the status of a type 1 civilization yet.
I
We're
don't
capable of exploring, but the question of colonization is definitely out of the question. It's just completely out of the question for now because it's like India in the 1700s, we were divided, so we were colonized by the British, right? It's a very simple example. That is unlike Adarsh, who thinks our world is very liberal and free. I think that's how our world is today. It's a very bipartisan or tripartisan or
When I
whatever
mean,
the
when I
word
say the
is.
world's free, I think I said that in the context of comparing it to previous civilizations. We're probably living the most content and most, I mean, if you want to say it ironically, but most happy lives as compared to people
No
before
one,
us.
no one is comparing us to, like the Pope at the time when Galileo was alive, where you get executed for just finding something
Yeah,
wrong
but
with someone's
in
orbit,
those
right?
same times, in
What
those
I'm
same
saying
times,
is
people set sail to go across the like to s- carry across through oceans, right? At that same point of time, when social order was like in absolute disarray, and when like you didn't even have bread for the next day, people got up and said, you know what, I'll explore the seas. Why not?
what, I
Yes,
think you were
yeah.
spot on
So
with the thing that we don't have our priorities set straight, which was that half a cent on the $100, right? That's what you said. That is our problem. Or whether you think it's diverse or not, at this point we're arguing over that, but does that really matter? Because if people aren't focused on progress and rather they what we do today is we create issues. Another problem is we don't focus on progress. Like if we say Mumbai needs more greenery, right? And what I'm going to get from the government is where second out of whatever 50 cities in some random survey. They don't think about the fact that we don't have enough for people to survive comfortably and for it to be healthy. But rather they focus on the fact that only maybe that there were 48 cities behind them. We're not looking at the wrong things. We've got our priorities completely wrong. We aren't focusing on true science. We're focusing on just the most useless of things. And we can never reach type 1, type 2, type 3, or any other type of civilization predicted by Kardashev if we continue like this. So, no, we're not ready.
so yeah, so continuing on that, like Adarsh, I wanted to say, let's say let's say we colonized somewhere else. That means like we're running away from problems we created here, right? So we are thinking humanity is something special, or something, right? We are trying to think humanity is something special, and we are exceptional, human exceptional. I think there's some human exceptionalism. So as long as we don't, as long as we bring this idea to other worlds, we're just gonna destroy that world too. So like we need to, what do you mean? We need to major things to see what it means to be human. Like, because
No,
Earth
I
is a
think the
collection of
bigger
people.
question is if we're the only civilization, does it matter if we really destroy other planets?
Yeah, that's the whole thing, right? That's the whole thing.
No, in
We're
my
just
view,
gonna
if we are
keep
the
going,
only
but
people,
you do know that we are not the only species. Yeah, they're like, we go. Let's say, I don't think. Are you proposing we're gonna colonize Mars?
so what do you mean by colonize? Do you mean if we go there and set up posts and if we start living there, that's colonization?
No, I mean like if straight up just like we start living there, we create a civilization, like
Yeah, of
generations
course.
of
I mean,
civilization.
if we don't do that, then do you just propose we die out here?
So like, what are you trying to say that we are not gonna die out there? Like,
No,
like
I'm
We're
is
saying
not
this
at
something that
some
scientifically
we
we're
point.
exist
not
of?
scientifically capable of living on Mars for a long period of time. Cultural diversity, everything's fine, which is not possible for us to live there. So how will we fix that problem first of all?
Yeah, so I think he's most likely going to suggest that we terraform Mars or something, right? So that we give it an atmosphere and we stay there. But when we have such a high technology and we reach such a high we get so many technological advancements that we are able to terraform a dead planet. Obviously, we can save Earth too, right?
So I'm not
Like,
saying
shouldn't
that
that
we
be a
should
priority?
abandon Earth. I'm not saying we should abandon Earth and just set up post everywhere else and just forget about Earth. I'm saying we've never historically fixed one thing and then moved on to the next. We've done things simultaneously, is what I'm saying. So I'm saying you can
Agreed.
set up post on Mars itself, and of course you can fix the Earth. But the way things are going, we're not doing either, is my point.
Yeah, but like living in space, humans living in space is like, it's like science fiction, right? Like it's so
I mean,
we are so far away from that.
I
Shouldn't
don't
we,
I don't think
let's
so.
say,
I
shouldn't
mean,
we even try
100
to
years
focus on
ago,
stopping an asteroid from hitting us? Shouldn't we focus on
yeah.
that? Shouldn't we try and save Earth? Because let's say we go to Mars, there'll be even higher chance of us getting screwed there, because there'll be the asteroid belt, Kuiper belt, not Kuiper belt, yeah, the belt between Mars and Jupiter.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, are we focused on stopping asteroids over here as well? Like I told you that day, that
And
we spend Manchester United and Manchester City combined spend more money on transfers every year than we as
that's
a
a society, right?
civilization spent on saving ourselves from asteroids. I think
Let's say we
that's
are
priority state.
we are giving historical examples, right? Let's say we are just a civilization. Let's say we are let's say British civilization. Obviously, it spends more money on itself than exploring, right? That's like uh, that's like societal norms, right? You're not gonna spend everything you have and go do space exploration, because defense,
I
you're
think
saying,
I
you're
think the
spending so
difference
much.
is at that time the civilization itself wasn't threatened. For the East India Company to not
I mean,
focus
okay,
on
let's say,
exploration.
who
Uh,
But
knows? Let's
unlike
say
unlike
Kim
the
Jong
East
Un
India
thinks.
Company, who
Hmm?
really benefited from colonizing India, how do we benefit from colonizing Mars? We're not capable of mining over there right now. We're not
No, I
mining,
think I think
capable
he's
of
saying
getting the
something else.
resources.
You're saying something else. I think Abhiram was
Yeah,
saying
we're
something else.
talking about different points, but what I'm asking you is just building up on that is how would it benefit us to colonize if we aren't scientifically capable of getting the resources?
Okay, so let's say 100 years down the line, do you think every single resource that exists on Earth, natural resources, are going to be there for us to like spend energy on every single thing that we want? Like 100 years down the line, we're going to have unlimited energy. Somewhere the energy has to come from somewhere, right?
It's renewable energy,
No,
right? We're getting everything from the sun. We're getting everything from the sun.
from the
Every
Yeah, but
wind
energy we
everywhere.
want, we're getting from the sun.
Nuclear energy. We barely
Nuclear, yes,
exploit
nuclear
nuclear
yeah,
energy.
yeah.
energy
How
today.
how's nuclear energy going? Like, I mean, the fact that every single country wants to shut all of it down. I mean, that's brilliant, right?
No, no. Yeah, nuclear reactor is also a good point, but that's also a non-renewable resource. We'll run out of it at some point.
Exactly. At
But
some
we
point, you're
always
going
have
to
the
Yeah,
run out.
sun.
but it
But we
provides so
always
much
have the sun.
energy that it'll take a lot
Yeah,
more than
but but
you know.
but but it's being shut down in like every single country, right? Every single country is moving back away from nuclear energy.
So like my point is the probability of us being hit by an asteroid, or let's just say we are trying to escape global warming, etc., right? So
Yeah.
shouldn't we try to fix us, like, who knows, let's just say some dictator feels like he wants to destroy the world, he can just launch a bunch of nukes, right? And that will just cause a chain reaction. One guy will start, so there's a higher probability of that happening, right?
Yeah. So
Hmm.
So shouldn't we try to
like,
fix that kind of thinking itself? Like we have to try and fix that first, because the probability of an asteroid hitting or some natural disaster or global warming, dying out of global warming, is way lower compared to such threats, right?
I don't think so. Are you saying that us as a civilization ending because of global warming is less likely than if a dictator was to get up tomorrow and press a bunch of nukes?
No, like, yeah,
No,
that's what I'm trying to say,
you're
because
agreeing to
we
that statement.
we can at least we can delay it for as long as we can, like 200 years, let's say. We can delay it as much as we want. But nuclear weapons, they'll just make a more advanced weapon. They'll just keep on going. What, like, if there are some extremely powerful nukes, let's say a country is
So,
dying down,
so I
they just
think
throw
I
their
think the
nuclear.
reason I think the reason why all of that happens is because we, like, as a civilization, we don't have a goal. Like, I mean, we wake up tomorrow and the only thing we have is that, okay, let's go fight with another country, let's fight with war. But whereas if you wake up tomorrow and say, okay, 100 years down the line, we need to be on the moon, we need to be on Mars, we need to be able to
Exactly my
mine like
point.
different
How
asteroids.
are you're unable to convince people to stop global warming? How do you think you're gonna convince people to leave their homes? Yeah,
To leave the home.
you're not able to convince people to save their homes. How are you gonna convince them to leave it? Because you are trying to convince all the countries to come together. Because wait, how are you even planning on sending people, like the whole, like most of the population, to some other place in case Earth is gonna die?
So, I mean, no, it's not going to die in the next 100 years, and all of us don't have to leave in the next 100 years. So, I
Mhm.
mean, the point that I'm saying is that the rate at which even people, firstly, though, no one's even left. So, that's out of the question about the whole population leaving. At max,
Mhm.
like the way things are going, you'll have like what, 50 people by 2030. By 2050, you'll have like 1,000 and max, or whatever, the way things are going.
Yeah, but they'll be
That's
the, like, richest of the richest people, right?
not
Like,
really, not really. Are you telling me that the richest people want to set up post on Mars? I don't think so. I think it's not the
okay,
richest
I
people who
guess,
want to
What?
but
set up
like
post on
Why do
Mars.
you think there's a
What the
billionaire
rich?
space race? If why is there a billionaire
So
space
the
race
billionaire
if they're
space
not
race,
the ones
I
who want
think
to set up?
no. So I think what SpaceX is doing and what the rest of the billionaires are doing are two completely different things. What the rest of the billionaires want to do is like cash into the space industry. They want to commercialize the entire space industry. Oh, come to the moon. We'll take you. You can visit and you can come back home and then have a jolly life. What SpaceX is trying to do is something completely different. They want, their entire goal is space exploration. That's not the goal of every other private
no,
space
but
player out
there's
there.
this
They
space tourism, right? At the moment, their whole business
that,
model is
yeah,
space
I
tourism.
don't agree with the space tourism model. If you're using that money to then fund space exploration ideals, then that's fine. But if your entire industry rests on space tourism, then that's just
So
doesn't
so
appeal to
so
me.
you need to privatize your, like, you need to charge money, right? Or else how is your business ever gonna run? You're saying you're gonna have
Yeah.
a space colonization business, right? It's not like all countries are suddenly gonna come together. Let's go to space. They're not gonna do that. No countries wanna.
Of
We
course,
we don't
that's
even
the
agree
most,
on the smallest of things.
yeah.
So
But I
so
think at some
what's your then
point
plan?
we're going to realize. I mean, obviously it's an ideal case, but at some point we either realize that all of us come together or like all of us are going to go out. But that's the most ideal thing. That's
But
never going to happen the way you're just saying it, right? But
okay,
if you have a
can I
space
ask you
company,
something?
yeah.
If you had so much power as suppose the president of the US, or you were a billionaire like Elon Musk, um or whoever, whichever, Jeff Bezos, whoever, why would you listen to a couple of high schoolers who say we should put everything aside and focus on the benefit of humanity rather than on billions of dollars from space tourism or
So
something else
I
that
think
doesn't focus on progress but simply focuses on profit?
I think that's a question you got to ask yourself. Like, if you're a profit-minded person, then you're going to stick to going down the space tourism path, right? Whereas if you care about something bigger, like the moment you realize that 50 years down the line, I'm not going to be here, and all this money I've accumulated is not going to make a difference to anyone, then you're going to start thinking that, yeah, well, what can I do that's actually going to be here 100 years later? So then
Okay, but
that's where, like,
realistically, how do you see people realizing that? We live in such an uneducated world where even the most educated of
oh,
people are worse than the most uneducated. So, how do you see anyone apart from, maybe the three of us deciding one day that we should focus on the good of humanity? Haven't we seen so many examples where people just they do their best to go against what's best for humanity?
yeah, but I think eventually, when I don't think it's going to be governments that's come together. I feel like it's going to be one, at least some, like at least the way SpaceX is going, it could be them, it could be another individual, it could be one corporation that realizes that, you know what, the governments aren't going to do anything. We need to get up and do something ourselves.
So
But
you're
what's to say
saying,
SpaceX won't give up on us and just move back to the profit model, a purely profit model, and stop caring about
No, I mean,
exploration in the
I
future?
can't predict what SpaceX as a company is going to do, but if you look at that model right now, they rely on something of a business model that works like that, right?
so
Hmm.
my
Fair enough.
point is
Thank you.
like just another thing. Let's say when we colonize space or whatever, and we go somewhere, it's just so inhospitable, right, for us humans and life. Like we haven't even been able to live in Antarctica. How do you expect us to go to Mars with all that lunar dust? There'll be so much threat of like cancer because it's like atmosphere, like the
See,
ozone layer
I'm
and
not
all is.
saying it's gonna be easy. I'm not saying that we're gonna go there and we're gonna see rainbows in the sky. I'm just saying that if we don't start, then we'll never know, right? If you don't like, if how can we just
Like,
say
are
that?
you serious? Are you trying to tell us, are like, you're saying we're not going to go beyond the solar system or what? Like, because
No, I
I'm trying to
mean,
say, if you want to
I'm
do space
I'm saying
colonization, go to a
here.
hospitable planet in like the Goldilocks
So
zone,
have
somewhere
we
else.
tried? Have we tried to do anything in that direction? Is my point. It's been 50
Because
years since
because
we
it's
went to the
so far
moon.
away. That's the whole point, right? It's
No,
so
but
many light
bro,
years
that's like
away. Like, how are you
that's
ever
like
going to get
sitting
there?
in the 17th century. That's like sitting in the 17th century and saying you cannot take a picture of the star because how can we ever do that? Like that's like saying like that's the kind of thinking you're using, right?
No, no, my point is, even if you start right
Like
now, and
we
even
don't know the
at the
kind of
best case, it will take
technologies that can
hundreds,
exist, right?
thousands of years before we even reach there. And by the time we reach there, the people inside the plane might, the flight only might die, right? You don't know how fertility is going
But
to work.
that's yeah. If you look at it with today's technologies, then yes, bro, that's what I'm saying. Like if you go back to the 17th century and if you say I'm in America and I want to go to Australia, and if you have a horse, and then if you tell the person that you need to reach Australia, your model is we have a horse. My model is if we start exploring, we'll find the bloody ship, and then we can reach
Yeah, yeah.
Australia.
So when we are at that much technology and that much societal like
Yeah,
collaboration,
but
don't you
how do
think
you
it's easier to
reach
say
that
first?
level of technology, right? How did we go
Yeah.
from the horse to the ship? We didn't go from the horse to the ship thinking we'll perfect our inner society and be a happy living merry society. We decided we went from horse to ship because there was okay. So since you're talking about greed, I think greed's a brilliant thing for the space exploration industry. If everyone's like tomorrow, if there was a asteroid mining race, and if every single billionaire wanted to go to mine asteroids, I can 100% guarantee you in like 10 years there'd be like the amount of development that would take place or like research that would take place in the space exploration would be more than happened in 100 years. Why? Because there's greed and there's profit involved. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that's also the thing that got us from like horses to ships, right? That's what that's what got us to stay. So when you see those ships, then you can make an accurate judgment as to whether we can go to another planet or not. But
But
if it
we
is
are
going to
like
sit and
hundreds
cry
of years
that
away. But we are like hundreds, 200s of years away from your idealistic goal, right? How are you ever going to fund such a space colonization program? Like, you're saying you're going to make it free or something, right? You're saying you're not going to charge people to
no,
go to Mars.
I think you're gonna. So obviously, the way governments are going, they're not going to start doing anything. Like the governments themselves are going to wake up and say that the ultimate goal of a civilization is space exploration or something. I mean, that's like if tomorrow if
Won't the
India wakes
ultimate
up.
goal first be global? Like if so much collaboration is
Okay,
there,
okay. So
it will be
if
way
the
easy to
ultimate
save the
goal is
world.
global warming, why is our ultimate goal saving global? Like that's a question. Like both
Because
of
it's
us,
much
why?
easier. Because it's much easier
No.
for us to stay
So
on Earth
if anyways
and to
like
save Earth. Yeah,
So
Okay, so
when do
200.
you think we should start colonization? Just personally, when would you think we can start space colonization? Exploration is fine. We're doing that. But when do you think colonization will be possible for us?
No, are you asking me or Abhiram?
Yes,
hmm.
you.
For me, sorry, I don't think we can know until we start. Like, honestly, the way we're going at the rate we're going, we'll just keep telling ourselves that we'll perfect the earth, we'll wait for technologies to come up. But if we don't try, like, technologies will probably go backwards. Like, we've retired space shuttle systems, right? Like, the kind of
So
rockets.
It
we
might
should
not even
spend
be
money on
theoretically
something
possible
that
for
we
us to
don't
do.
know is possible.
Yeah, we don't even know if it's possible theoretically.
And look
Like
at the flip side.
considering our what do you mean relativistic considerations and like our maximum thrust or something that we
No,
can get.
I think that entire argument's flawed when you look at the way we're currently spending money. Like, I'll pose the
No,
question to you
we are
now. Do
living
you
in a
think? Do
society
you
that's
think?
obviously going to happen. That's obviously going to
Okay,
happen.
so
There's going to be minimal on space exploration. You're living in, let's say, you're living in a house. You won't spend. Let's say you're living in a big house. You're not going to spend all your money on just going on a flight to Romania and coming back, right? That's going to be a very small part. Everything you're going
no,
to do is
if
going to be
if my
inside your society.
house if my house is on fire, I'm gonna take the next plane out and leave to Romania. You know, unless
Yes, but
you're living you're
it's not like the house has burned down. Like you can still save it. Just call fire
yeah,
extinguishers, right? That will be way cheaper.
but the house is on fire, right? And at some point it's
It is
gonna
on
burn
fire.
down. If
Save
not,
it.
okay, fine. You fend off global warming. Like, some years later, there's gonna be magnetic reversal of the poles. Then you'll have like problems eventually down the line. There could be solar flares. The sun could do whatever it wants. There could be asteroids coming our
So
way,
Yeah.
and
So
we'll keep.
again,
let me
much
put it
much
in
worse at
easier
Mars,
terms.
right? Much worse at Mars
If
and Moon. Like whatever you're saying, whatever problems you're saying, because there's no atmosphere only. You're just gonna die there without the ozone layer. You're just gonna. It's gonna be really bad. Our space suits can't even tolerate so much UV
No,
radiation.
but how do they go from not being able to tolerate them to being able to tolerate them?
It's not a we are not a fucking bacteria, man. We're not gonna get
No, I'm not saying we have to go. I'm not saying we have to go from that point. I'm saying you said space suits, right? I'm saying, how do the space suits go from that point? Obviously, we can't go from that point. So the space suits aren't going to go from that point to that point unless we decide they have to, right?
yeah. So my point is, isn't it
so,
way
but
easier either to go to habitable planet or to save Earth? There's no other option. Where else do you want to go? It makes even more sense if you say on Jupiter, some moon, I think Ganymede or Titan, where water is there.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
makes sense for us to at least go there and colonize there. Colonizing Mars or something, we still like it's gonna take like hundreds to hundreds of years.
Okay. See, 10 years ago, if we had this same debate when SpaceX didn't exist, and you would have reached the same points, and
so
Elon Musk was at this
SpaceX was
point.
formed 20 years ago.
Okay, bro. When SpaceX hadn't discovered its whatever that technology is where it's can land rocket back. I don't know what it's called, but whatever that thing's called.
2017.
Yeah, that was 10 years. That was more than 10 years back. Now that's my whole point. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Five
that
years
if
ago.
the whole thing
Okay,
is
okay.
actually
Sorry,
space to
sorry. I get
Mars,
bro,
it.
right? It goes
I
up
get
uh,
what
land
you're
to
saying.
Mars.
My bad.
yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that
Okay,
was.
so if we were at that point when space exploration was 20 times, 10 times more expensive than after the discovery, like after that's been invented, right? And we were having the same debate, and you'd say, what's the point of investing in space exploration? We don't even know the technology can exist. How are you going to be able to use the rockets? No. Your basic premise would be rockets go there, they dissolve themselves. Like, you can't ever use them again. That's like $20 billion
Physics
into
itself
a
has not
rocket.
been developed so much to first even
Yes, but
consider that
my
because
point
at the
is,
moment,
if you use that same argument that it's not good
so
enough,
first we have to
then how
focus
are
on
you ever going to
research.
get to good enough?
What I'm trying to say is, we haven't found a planet that's habitable that we can get to in under 100 years. That's assuming people live 100 years on the flight. We're assuming cryo freezing doesn't exist. Now you get the technology to get this place that's 1,000 light years away. You get you make cryo freezing possible. So you can store people in a flight for 1,000 light years and you can get there. Right? Now this is suppose the only habitable place that we find, just assuming the Drake equation doesn't work. Now, suppose all this is possible. Who is willing to spend 1,000 light years in cryo freezing to come to a place for the benefit of the rest of humanity? Isn't this more of a question of a human selfish interest?
I don't think you assuming that everything we know about physics is the absolute and we would never progress beyond that point is correct. Like if 100 years ago, if you would have like or 200 years
So that's
ago,
not
if
his
you
question.
thought
That's not his question. He's saying even
no,
if
no,
cryo
I'm
freezing
saying
exists,
why this thing is flawed because he's assuming cryo freezing is the only way to go about it, or the only way we can reach that habitable planet is if you wait for 1,000
yes,
years, right?
even
So,
if
so
we
you're
believe,
telling me
even if
you're
we
going to teleport there? Is that what you're saying? That's the only good technology people are going to be willing to take, right? What else are people going to be willing to take if they don't want to waste time to get to a planet?
Okay, so
it,
supposing
it
100, okay,
is 10
supposing
light
50 years
years
down the
away. Like
line, like
it's
they
10 light
discover
years
that.
away. Like it's the closest, I mean, nearby star. I think it was 10 light years away, and the exoplanets are farther away, and we are not even close to traveling at hyper speed, Star Wars type stuff. So it's gonna take ages for us, right? We're not like living in that hex field or something. Just go through there, go faster than light, like Guardians of Galaxy. That's like way past. Like that might not even happen. That is gonna be like hundreds of generations down the line.
So
Easily.
I
Yeah. So,
don't.
well,
Here's what I
and
agree with you. Here's what I agree with you. I agree with you that current technology does not exist for us to be able to do what I'm saying. If we
Yes.
want to go to Mars, that the way the current
Even if
technology
it
stands.
exists, as Shikhar said, why would you want to go to such a
Okay,
bad
yeah,
place?
exactly. Okay, so the current technology that exists is not suitable or not reasonable enough for any human to ever going to do what it demands. But my point is, how do you
No, my
go
point is,
from the tech?
if it exists, like my and Shikha's point is, even let's say 100 years down the line, 200 years down the line, even if it exists, we cannot, like, as he said, why would a person want to go to such an inhospitable place when Earth is
exactly.
so
So,
good, right? Like, why would they want to just, like, it's
So
such a bad place for them to go? And
why do people want to go to
for the betterment of
Mars?
humanity, why would they do that? And like,
people want to
nobody
go to
thinks
That's
like
Mars
that.
because there are people who have made the whole thing of going to Mars sound very good. It's simply human perception of why people want to go to Mars.
I don't think
People,
so. I don't think before you send someone to Mars, you can tell them that they can expect like cotton fields over there. I'm pretty sure if you're sending someone to Mars, you have to tell them that listen, these are the risks you're going to be facing. This is what's going to
No, my
happen to
point is,
you
why
over
would they
there.
even go?
so if someone can all I have to do is talk to a person for half an hour and just to convince someone that someone's race is inferior or something of the sort, then how hard would it be to tell someone that going to Mars will be fun? How hard would it be? I can get a person to give their life up. It wouldn't take me more
I
than half an
don't,
hour. I'm not
I
a
don't,
professional doctor.
I don't think what you're saying is I think what you're saying is absolutely incorrect. The only people who would ever go to Mars would have to
You
go
want
through
to
like
become a
2 to 3
brainwashing
years.
company essentially,
No, I'm
because
not.
you are a,
I don't know what you're on about. I'm saying at some point, if with your logical argument that everyone is selfish and that why would anyone ever want to go to Mars? Like, why would anyone ever want to go to explore? Why are people going to Mars? Like, why are people readily wanting to go to Mars? Why is there a wait list
like
to go to Mars?
So
bro,
they have been told by. Sorry,
that's
go
like
ahead.
a very
I
small
don't.
percentage of the population, extremely small percent of the population.
Yeah,
Most people, they don't
yeah.
want to go to
First
Mars.
off,
Like you explain to them on the wait list, like it's like they want to buy a cyber truck, but once they see it, they don't want to buy it, right? It's like it's curiosity, human curiosity. But once they know what they're in it, they're not gonna give up their lives. My point is, obviously, like since I was in childhood, I was like, I'll go to space, I'll go to Mars. But once you understand the risks, obviously you don't want to waste your only life, right? It's not like, unless your technology can
so I
regenerate
like
more
how the
people.
Maybach looks. I want to buy it, but if I don't have the money to purchase the Maybach, then I can't buy it. No one who you're saying is there who wants to go to Mars will actually be willing to go to Mars if you tell them that they have to go. You tell them there's a good
I
shot
think that's absolute nonsense, bro. Okay. Listen, what you're telling me is when SpaceX eventually sends people to Mars, they're gonna tell them that when they reach there, there'll be people giving them food. that they're going to be restaurants, then they're going to live a happy, merry life. You think those people have not gone through 5 years
Why
of
would they go?
training,
Once
have
you tell
not
them the
been.
truth,
No, no,
no,
Okay,
no.
only
okay,
That's
people
one
are
fine.
going to be
second,
restaurants only, then
No
one
go.
one's
second,
saying
one
there
second.
won't be 10. We're saying that's fine. 5 people will be willing to go to Mars and sacrifice whatever. They'll martyr themselves for the sake of the human race. Even I would be willing to do that for the future of science. But how many other people will be willing to come? How will you move? Maybe your point is that we'll better the earth by taking people off, moving them to other new planets, right? How will you the minimum number, some good number would be maybe 2 billion people. You want to reduce population, make things less competitive, something. Just I'm giving you an example of a number. How are you gonna convince even 1 billion people to come to you to Mars? How are you
One
gonna
million,
how
not
you
even billion, just 1 million people.
exactly how you gonna manage even maybe 100,000 people to come to Mars? How are you gonna do that? It's not
But
maybe
you said
technically it's not
100,000 now.
easier.
I found this thing that says they asked at least 100,000 people were ready to go to Mars and not return. You're telling them they're not coming back, okay? You're telling them they're not coming back and they won't go to
Bro,
Mars.
they'll just
So
when you go seriously, I'm not
I get
sure.
what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I'm sure these surveys are
See,
like,
I agree.
they
I
could
agree.
be,
See, my point is, till now nobody has gone to Mars, right? So once,
yeah,
like, let's say the first 1,000 batch go, why would anyone like really want to go? First, people want to go. I want to go to the moon. I want to be the first person to go to the moon. But that is like a great pull. Now, once people start going to Mars and then they realize how bad it is there, nobody's want to go there. Nobody's nobody's want to go there. Shit,
exactly.
my
So
English is
I would, if I'm being put in a space suit, you put me in a rocket, right? I will, if I come, no, maybe it's just suppose I have to spend 7 months on the way to Mars alone. I will jump off the rocket before you make me do that.
again, that's your personal view, but I'm going to say the same thing that I feel that there are enough people who readily want to go and explore because unlike what you believe, not everyone on earth is happy.
no, no,
Not
explore. I mean, when
everyone
you
lives not everyone lives an ideal life. Like I'm sure not every single person here. If I go
you
up
want
to
to
a
play a
person
Squid
and say,
Game,
no, no,
then
no,
play
I
Squid
don't know
Game.
what
Like,
I've never
like,
seen Squid Game, but I don't know how it functions.
yeah,
But
essentially, like people at the lowest point of their life, you're just taking them and you're just sending them as volunteers. You're
no,
just sending
no,
them.
no, no. No, that is not what I'm trying to say.
Suppose you
Simpler
convince
others.
someone poor to go, then where will you get the funding to get them to go? Obviously, funding comes through taxation. And do you think the 1.2 billion people of India will be willing to pay for some random beggar on the street to get a new life on Mars? Do you think people are
Yes.
that selfless?
Okay, so since we've discussed so much about space exploration, and at the beginning you said you wanted to go into, I forgot what you said, but you said you wanted to go into solid
Condensed matter
matter
physics.
physics, condensed
Condensed
matter physics. So I'm gonna ask you the question: where do you see condensed matter physics going in 100 years?
Yeah, see, you're just gonna think that rockets are just they just go on their own, but you need the what do you mean material, right? There's like so much high what do you mean
Okay. So
different
for someone,
superconductors.
someone, someone who's watching and it doesn't know what condensed matter physics is, give a bit like of an introduction.
It's essentially like the physics of condensed low temperature physics of solids. Essentially, for example, it's like you try to make simple statistical models to predict real ones. And let's say, for example, you can make an Ising model which predicts ferromagnetism, which is essentially how some like essentially how magnet behaves in another magnetic field. So you can predict that how spins align. So it's essentially it's just low temperature physics. I think so.
Abraham thinks so. But sure. Okay. So if
Wait,
I
one
ask
sec,
you,
one second.
No, no,
No,
I
no, no,
not
wait,
not just
listen.
like low temperature. It's just
How many
solid
people
state
will
in the solid
understand
state.
what you're saying when you say low temperature physics? I don't
Okay, so
think
it's
people will get what you're
essentially
trying to
it's
say.
very general. It's just study of substances like solid state, like solid. Essentially, it deals with the electromagnetic forces between atoms.
okay,
That
so
is the
since
whole.
since since it's just a podcast, I'll ask you why don't you want to go into particle physics?
Yeah.
Why don't you want to go into particle physics?
Why don't? It's just, I mean, I've not been exposed to particle physics too much. I just like everybody here is they're just gonna say hit two atoms together, see what comes. That's what they're doing. But my point is, they're like exotic. They're like okay. So yeah, so like condensed matter physics is like amazing. Just condensed phases of matter, like from liquid you condense to gas. So that you can use that for a lot of stuff, mainly superconducting materials. If you like even on Earth for like we need superconductors, right? So there are some exotic condensed phases that in which you can see some uh, fermions emitted. I think they're called Majorana fermions, and there's a lot of new exciting stuff going on, which is similar to what's going on in particle physics. New particles are being found like that. Here, new exotic phases are being found. But the reason I want to do condensed matter physics is there's a direct application. It's just applied physics. Like you make material, you study it, and then you can use it instantly. It's like material science, but a subdivision.
Okay, fine. So what's the biggest problem in solid matter physics right now?
Right now, everybody's doing on superconductors, mostly. Yeah,
Like
everybody's
can
trying
you
to
can
find
you
the like see, uh, let's say a wire, it becomes extremely it becomes extremely conductive when the temperature is very low. So now they want to see how they can do it in real life. Like you can make the temperature like minus close to absolute zero, then it becomes superconducting. Like resistance becomes close to zero. But the whole thing is they want to increase that threshold temperature and do.
and what happens with these superconductors?
Yeah, so like you use that for even for communication. Like the
No, like
essentially the
generally, okay. So
energy traveling will be less.
I'll repose my question. What does solid matter physics contribute to society?
Okay. Okay, cut this part out. Let me think. Okay, yeah.
General
So you
question.
can use superconductors. I guess you can use superconducting magnets. They're like most powerful. They're even more powerful than neodymium. Anything. So you can use them in MRI machines. You can use them in spectroscopy meters. You can use them in particle accelerators also. Yeah, you can use
It's
you use
particle physics.
superconducting magnet in particle accelerators. I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty. Yeah. So you can.
So, and how do all
So
these
so
machines
so
you've
so
named help humanity?
yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to get to that.
It's like clear, right? You want to do particle physics. How is it helping? Like you want. My point is MRI machines. Let's say, for example, or even if we just take a supercapacitor also, you see our electrical what do you mean electrical engines in car, they need a supercapacitor for them to work because they need high energy storage. They need high energy storage and quick energy output. That's what they need, right? So that's one thing. And like you can even use superconductors to build Josephson junctions, I think. Yeah, just yeah, you essentially it electrons go, see, uh, how do I explain this?
But so
So
generally, you're trying to improve current technologies to like just get the better.
yeah, improve current technology. Essentially, our whole thing in condensed matter physics is it's like a very new field of physics, like the what is happening. So we can find something like graphene, etc., etc. So we can find some specific property that can help us even do space exploration. Let's say that can help
Okay,
us do
so
quicker,
you spend
faster.
billions of dollars on doing something which you don't know might produce an outcome.
Okay,
No,
then
I'll pose the same question you asked to me. You're spending
that's his
billions of
research in
dollars
general,
here.
right? That's his research
Yeah,
in general. There's a direct
so
application here. There's a direct application here, at least. You can say, why are you giving salary to theoretical physicists? Why are you giving them salary?
yeah, because that's the question you posed to me. You're saying that why are we spending billions of dollars when we
No,
don't know
the
what's gonna
point,
happen?
the point is not money. The point is, let's say, even if you send there, the point I feel the issue with social, what do you mean? Space exploration is not technological. It's more social. It's more cultural. Like, why would a person want to give up their lives to go there?
So
That is the
you're
problem.
not saying, you're saying if supposing everything, if let's say I got if hypothetically, if I got 100,000 people that were ready to go there, we can do it. Because you're saying the main problem is social, right? It's not technological or money.
Yeah, technological, we could get there. That's the point. Even if we get there, my point is that you can't convince so many people. Like our social infrastructure is not built so well. We can't just, as I said from the start, that's my whole argument here. Because technology, you don't know where it will go. You can probably build some way for us to go to Mars or terraform Mars. But my point is, we have to, like, it doesn't make what do you mean, ethical sense to me, at least.
It doesn't make ethical sense for us to go
Ethical
to
sense
Mars.
like to do what do you mean, to first of all leave Earth and go there, leave Earth in shambles and go there. That doesn't make ethical sense to me, because that means you're just going to carry our problems everywhere. And it doesn't make logical sense, because I don't think such a large group of people would want to go unless you find a habitable planet which is there. That's why I am okay with space exploration, let's say JWST, and as many telescopes you want to explore the space so that you can find such a suitable place. You don't have such a suitable place here.
So since you
Even if you
brought
have
up
such a suitable place, it's so
JWST,
far away. It's so far
yeah,
away.
no. So since you
So we
brought
need
up
to first build our
JWST,
technology first. Then we need to build a social infrastructure. Then I believe we should try and at least stop global warming for us as much time as we can, so that at least we can show that as a society we're progressing instead of
okay, so
just leaving our problems. Because this is such a
I
big thing, right? It's like, yeah, my point
I
is,
know.
this is way harder to do than whatever you said. Oh, we go in a boat, because here whole country with various beliefs will have to come together. That's going to be very hard to do, is my point, even if you have the technology. So
See,
yeah,
again, I'm gonna say that it does, like you're making it sound like if we want to go to space, all of humanity has to come together and agree that okay, we're gonna go to space and everyone has to do it together. But I don't
no.
think,
My point is, obviously the humanity knows we have to go to space, but you ask a singular person,
yeah.
they be
So
willing?
I
Would they
think
be willing to give up their life?
I think that changes with time. Like if supposing
That's like, you have to be a very, what do you mean, nation loving kind of person, like a person, like, for example, you said you'll go do whatever study you want to do, and in aerospace engineering, and you'll just come back to your country and serve for it. You're ready to give up your life. I am also ready, but there are many people, I don't think so most people would want to go, is my point.
so the way I look at it is I think that thing that changes with time. So like since we're going back to that ship example itself, the entire country didn't get on the ship and leave, right? One guy got on the ship, one guy went there, he found gold, he struck
Yeah, so
gold,
a
he saw
social
that.
infrastructure should be built, right? First,
Yeah.
we try to convince everyone. So
Yeah, I
like
think
it's moving here.
I don't think it's about convincing. I think it's about one person leading from the front and then everyone subsequently realizing that okay, this is the way
No,
to
it
go.
could even work in reverse. People will like, oh yes, Mars, it's like so amazing place. Like, let's say what do you mean? My parents said, what do you mean? You go to US or go to UK, you'll get amazing education. But then once people start to go, you'll realize it's not that amazing. Maybe you
Yeah.
should come back, stay in India. So there is a negative
Yeah,
feedback
no,
loop
no,
that
no.
can also happen.
That obviously, I mean, you can go there and
There
reach
is
there and realize,
curiosity, but once you kill that curiosity by someone going there and someone already colonizing there, I'm not sure humanity will want to go, because curiosity is the main thing, right? Whatever we have done is just a human belief, like whatever we want to do, we do. But once you break that, I'm not sure anybody would even want to go.
no, I get what you're saying. I think there are a lot of things that stop it. But since you brought up JWST, I'll talk about JWST specifically, right? It took like at least 20 years or more in the making, at least since it got approved. And that thing was
Mhm.
supposed to be up in like the early 2000s, right? Or the early
But
2010s. And it's been 10
when
years.
we're when we're talking about JWST, we knew there'd be some guaranteed great results that would come off it. It's not
Yeah,
flying
yes.
away for thousands of years with no objective,
No,
no idea
I'm
of
not
what's going to
looking,
happen.
I'm not talking about, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have built JW. I'm talking about the monetary part of JWST. I'm saying it took us 20 years to build an $8 billion or $10 billion. How many of $1 billion telescope, right? And we
Yeah,
could have, are you telling me that we could not have done that quicker? Like we could not have done that significantly
We could
quicker?
obviously have
we
done that quicker.
could
There's
have, but the
nothing.
fact
Yeah,
that we
so that
didn't, the fact that we didn't proves exactly why
Yeah.
your idea of space
This is
exploration
ideal.
won't
That's a
work
very
out.
idealistic case, is our point. Like, if you look at real society, that's nowhere close to what can happen. Like,
Yeah, we knew JWST will be so helpful to us. We knew all of this, governments knew it, everyone knew it, but still we took so long for something that doesn't even require that much funding.
I
And you
think
think that
no,
space,
no, 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 no. I don't think I'm the one looking at it idealistically. I think you're the one looking at it idealistically because you're assuming that somehow we extend global warming by 100 years.
no,
Somehow
that,
we're
that
able to
that is a
fix
much more realistic case. That's a much more realistic case.
how.
I'm not saying we are going to do that. I'm saying that's also extremely idealistic, but it's way more realistic than yours. You're saying we're going to terraform Mars. We're going to live there. We're going to make a civilization there. That is
I'm saying we
way
can
more
try. At
idealistic.
this point, I'm saying at this point, neither are we trying to go to Mars, neither are we trying to save the Earth. We're in like the middle of
So
both
you think like
paths.
why do you think Elon Musk just left for like
Well, that's
left?
one guy, and his own government doesn't give a shit
And
about
what
it.
is his philosophy right now? Get money, space, get as much money as you can, then think of space colony. Like first, we don't even have any resources for that. Even if we do, I don't. The whole SpaceX thing is exploration, right? Again, they'll explore,
Yeah,
they'll go around, and they'll come back. That's the whole motto. Like that is the thing that makes most sense as a business or whatever, because that's how you can make money from the space industry. But in such an inhospitable in place, why would anyone want, like, why are you just sending people there, is my point. And we don't even have a habitable planet. Shouldn't you first focus
see.
on that?
Oh, the way I see it, if we think that we can fix the planet itself, like for us to realize that we need to fix the planet, we need to get into that same mentality as for us to realize that we're not going to be able to live here beyond a certain point, right? That's the way I see it. If we're not able to convince ourselves that we need to fix the earth
Two things,
itself,
yeah. So as I said, there are two things. You are saying we're going to convince people to leave their homes. I am saying we're going to convince people to save their homes. What do you think is easier socially?
I think, of course, to save the home, but again, I'm going to say the house is on fire, that's only a certain amount of time you can use the fire extinguisher.
Agreed. But we don't even know, right? We don't. You're saying screw Earth will go, but you're saying we don't even know. Most likely, we
See,
will be able to extend as much as we can global warming, and we could be able to even reverse it. We could be able to, like, if you're talking about such an idealistic technological scenario, definitely we should be able to do that.
my point of view is the goal, like the thought process that gets you to save the earth is the same thought processes that takes you to realize that the earth is not enough, or like we need to go beyond the earth. It's not like the thought, like if you're
See,
able to
the
convince the
Earth is
entire
not enough.
planet.
It is way easier to like fix it, no? Then you're just gonna make
That's
sun
what
more
that's what you
problems when you go to
think
Mars.
like from the way I see it. I think it's the same mentality as to if you can convince people to save, like you're telling me why would anyone want to give up their life like to go and live on Mars, right? I'd ask you the same problem. Why would anyone ask you the same question? Why would any country today want to give up a growth or like exposure? Why would India listen to anybody when they tell them to shut down, like cut down on the carbon emissions? They'll just tell every single country that, hey, you did it when you were going through industrialization, we'll do it now.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
so why
my
why,
point
why
is,
will any country ever listen to that, right?
I agree that that's why we are facing so much issue with trying to prevent global warming. But that is way easier to do. Like, you are seeing some
No,
progress
so
there at least.
so
so
no,
Adarsh,
so
using that same example, if we don't have the simple unity of slowing down some sort of industrialization to prevent global warming, how will we move into a global effort of such as space colonization?
again, I don't think it has to be global. I think it starts from somebody, some some corporation, some single person, and then when everyone realizes, that's when it gets global. I think it's the same. It's the same. Like if India is able to go from the point of realizing that, look, we need to cut down carbon emissions,
So
not
like
because
once one person goes to Mars, he will realize it is very amazing there or something. No, right?
no,
Nobody will realize.
no, no. Okay, okay. So since you're talking like the house itself, like why would anyone save the house? Like why?
Why would anyone save their house? Because you don't want to go and live on the streets, right? That's what you're saying. Because that it is way worse than living on the street. You may die on the streets too if you go on if you go to Mars. So rather than that, you want to stay in your house, try to save it. Or even if it's burned down, you want to build it back, right? At least you want to try that. Instead of instead of just trying to just go out of the house, leave everything there and just go out of the house. Then you go to another house, you burn that down, you burn next one down. We are not ready as a civilization, is my point. Forget technological advancements. Like you keep on burning houses down. That's like you're never gonna say like humanity is safe. Like your point is, once you go there, you're gonna Mars, and then you're gonna ask what where do you see humanity in 200 years? Again, you're gonna ask that. Are you gonna return back to Earth and then terraform Earth again? Like what is your point? Like, or you're gonna go out of space? Like
I was just thinking, uh, you're talking about like a single corporation, just
No, so
starting it
so
off, and once I
you're telling.
setting the way for everyone else to do it. So you're saying we need a Columbus?
Yeah, exactly. We need someone to stand there like Columbus would have and say, I don't care what lies on the other side of the ocean. I don't care how rough the oceans are.
the
I'll
point
do
is,
it.
we know what lies, right? Again, if you're saying
Okay,
you're gonna go
so
to
you're
Mars,
saying we need a
No, we
Columbus,
don't
right?
know. We don't know
Are
what's
you
gonna
aware of the death and destruction that Columbus brought when he first discovered?
when he first discovered
What's to
what.
say humans won't
When he
destroy
once
whichever planet?
when he first discovered what?
America.
The
Yeah,
Americas.
yeah, because why? Because there were people living there, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying what's to say
But
we won't just
But
go
but
down
what
and
are we
destroy a
gonna
see,
planet?
do?
see, there were
What are
people
we
living there.
destroying on Mars? What are we destroying on Mars?
Nuclear
No, my
testing.
point, like,
Nuclear testing. That's what we
Okay,
need
okay,
land for,
fine.
right?
So
We
again,
start mining, we ruin
a
we start
philosophical
mining, we
question.
ruin the
That's
environment.
is that a problem? Is that a problem? Do you see a problem if we go to Mars and try to bomb them with nuclear bombs so that we can terraform the planet? Is that a problem?
It is a
Yes or no?
problem
Why is that a
because
problem? How is that a problem?
you're spending billions of dollars to colonize a
yeah.
new place only to just start bombing out half the planet just for fun.
We're spending
Do we
trillions of dollars trying to bomb our own planet.
no
The point, mate. What's your point? I think the entire like this entire
edit it
like
out now.
no no
Edit it out.
no this is not gonna edit it out. You're not living in this like you're not saying. Of course, my goals are more like idealistic, but the way I see it, none of your goals themselves will be reached. Like, how are you gonna tell like countries like the like 200 years later? Honestly,
My point is, it's way
if
easier because there's progress being made, right? Most of the
no,
companies are going carbon
the way
neutral.
I
Most of
see it,
the
if we don't leave now, we're never gonna leave. Like 200 years later, supposing you got this self-sustaining or like, okay, we have solar power coming from the sun, we have renewable
why
energy,
did
we're
you
able to
say that we are not going to leave then? Because then the fire will spread so much, then you will want to leave. Now people they don't want to leave because fire is just in
One
that
sec.
one room.
When do you leave your house? When do you leave? Okay, when does someone leave the house? When the house is on fire, or when the house is perfect?
When one sec, Adarsh, when your kitchen is on fire and you haven't just got flammable gas all around your house, do you buy a fire? Do you send someone to just quickly? Do you call your neighbor and ask for a fire extinguisher? Or do you burn the rest of the house down and then move on to make another? Do you do that?
The
Okay,
point is
okay. I
people
don't know.
will
I'll
go
use
to
the
the
same
street.
example. I go to my neighbor. I get a fire extinguisher. I extinguish the fire. Why will I leave now? Why? Like, give me one
Don't
reason. No, no.
don't
I'll tell you
leave.
what.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
leave.
That's my point. That's my point. The way I see it, 200 years later, if once we live in this, like we wake up and we realize that why do we need to leave? We have everything we need here. We have renewable energy. There's no point in leaving. Let's just stay here and spend the rest of our life here.
No, the
And
thing is, we are
and
obviously
and
gonna
that
leave. We are
that is
obviously
the
gonna leave.
problem. No, you're assuming that. I don't
No,
think
my point.
to
I'm just gonna continue. My point is, we are obviously want to go to leave. Like that. That's the next logical step. We have
no.
conquered
Why is that
everything,
the logical
the
step?
whole
That's what like the example
because
that
it's
Shikhar
humanity.
gave.
We just wanna explore. That's our whole
Are
thing,
you
right?
are you
Wanna see
saying
what's
that
there.
like that's what you're saying? But if the way things are going, if your every single need could be met on Earth, like your wildest fantasies could be filled in like the metaverse for all you care, like why would any rational human being want to go through like the worst hardships their entire generation would have faced in
Bro,
like hundreds of
like the
years?
metaverse resolution will be low, man. Like, want to see clearly.
Okay, no,
Like,
generally speaking, if 100 years later you could live on any fantasy in the metaverse, why would you want to leave? Why?
nobody would want to leave if they're stuck in a fantasy
Exactly.
world unless they realize they're in a
Exactly.
fantasy world.
Yeah, but are you like that's the same thing that I'm saying right now? That's
How
exactly
is
what I'm
this even
saying.
connected? My point is, we're gonna
No, it
leave.
is
We're obviously
connected.
gonna
I'm
leave.
saying you're
My
assuming that
point
we're
is,
gonna leave.
save the house, then
We
you
could
leave.
we could question it another way. What if the world we are? What if Abhiram, Aadarsh, Shikhar were all characters of someone else's multiverse? What if we're in a simulation? Then does space exploration matter?
What is going on?
I am leaving. Sorry, network is gone.
What is going on? No. But see, what I was saying is you're
I
resting your belief.
mate,
So
listen.
My
Can
point
we
is,
end in like 4 5 minutes because I have to leave also.
yeah, we'll just
Also,
wrap it
we're
up.
repeating the same points now.
now
We'll
we're
just wrap
really
up the
not,
discussion.
bro. I don't know what you're saying, Shikha. We're not repeating the same thing.
We'll
See.
just
Okay,
wrap up the discussion. See, my
yeah, let's
point is,
wrap.
my point is, Adarsh, you're saying there is a house burning down. We're gonna convince everyone to live on the street. That's what you're saying, right? My point
No,
is,
no, no.
then we go live on the street. Then maybe we find another house there. We build another house there. We're gonna burn it down too. So that's my whole point. So maybe it is idealistic to try and save the world, but if we don't even try to save the world, we're just gonna take the problem with us. That should be our main priority. Our main priority should be making sure as a society we are good enough to even colonize. We are ready to colonize, not good enough, ready to colonize. Like we can just go there and just do whatever we want. It's never going to succeed. My point is, unless
I
like
the way I see it, when you extinguish
there's
that
going to be
fire in the
refugees at
house,
that point.
no, see, when you extinguish the fire that's burning your house, why would you ever want to leave?
We
Why?
want to leave because we want to explore. We want to see tourists.
Yes,
We want to
yes.
come back, right?
Now we want to explore. Now we want to explore because the house is on fire. We're looking for options. You leave when the house is on fire. You don't leave when there's no fire. Like if there's
No,
nothing
when the
happening, and
fire
if
is
we can,
gone, you still leave. Let's say
no,
fire is
no,
gone. You
no, no,
still want to
no,
leave and see what's going on. But you want to
no,
come back,
no.
right? You don't want to live on
Yeah,
the
but
street.
Exploration is
Yeah,
just to
exploration is very
satisfy our
different from
basic
colonization.
human. It's a satisfy our basic human curiosity. If we find use of it, then we'll move on to it. But currently, we're not ready for colonization.
Yeah, because once you colonize, you break that curiosity of exploration. Is my point.
Exactly.
I do. See, the way I see it, 200 years, like 150 years later, why would anyone ever want to leave? I don't think anyone wants to leave. You're telling me people aren't rational enough to leave right now. I'm telling you, when you give someone like, if you tell everyone that, like, look, AI is gonna do everything for you, wear this on your head, eat this food, you're gonna live out the best life any humans ever lived out, sit here and live it out. Why in their rational mind would anyone ever want to take that glass off their
Forget
face,
a
get up
fantasy
and
world,
go into
just normal
space.
Earth, just a normal Earth. We have a bad home. We are living in a hut. We're not living in a good home. But still, you would not want to leave our life, right? That's my whole point. Like you won't be able to convince them to leave, even if the house is on fire, until the house is burnt down. When there is still a chance of you fixing the house, anybody is gonna pick that. Any rational person
Have
should
we
pick that.
ever have we ever picked that?
At least we have tried to pick that, right? At least we are making progress towards trying to save the house. Maybe the house has already burned down. We are trying to at least repair it, At least before we don't even know that we might be able to reverse global warming. There is nobody knows. That should be our
Okay,
main
ladies and
priority.
gentlemen, before the debate
Wait,
continues,
wait,
I'd
wait,
just
bro.
like to say that my point's been made. Hence, I'll be exiting. Adarsh and Abhiram will continue. I fail to find the
Who
need
has
to argue
submitted?
anymore. My point is enough. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of Tricycle.
Wait, no. What were you saying?
I think I was saying like we are not ready. Like we can't just leave a burning house and go. As long as we can still fix it, we don't know if we can fix it. We can't just leave it, right? That's my whole point. We don't know if we can fix
I'm
it.
not, so again, I'm not saying leave the
And
house.
business, like monetarily, it is not possible. Socially, it's not possible.
No,
Technologically, it is
I
not
think
possible.
monetarily it's very possible. Like
No,
I
let's say
know.
you find an extremely amazing technology way in the future.
Okay, I'll
It's
give you
going to be
one
so
hypothetical.
expensive. It's going to be like
I'll give
10
you
times,
one.
100
No.
times.
I'll give you one hypothetical situation how a space company could self-sustain itself. Okay, you're going to use the
Hmm.
same technology as you would to go to the moon, as you would to like mine things, right? Okay, go to the asteroid belt, mine the asteroid belt, get back resources, use the same like the fuels that you've garnered and use that, sell that to companies, and then you're suddenly that's a renewable source of energy, right? Suddenly you've made
Yes.
petroleum gas a renewable source of energy, and
Yes.
then suddenly you
But,
own
see,
energy,
what
that's
will
the
people
biggest
think?
commodity on
They're
the
going to use
planet.
that energy on Earth. That's what people are going to think. Let's take that energy, use it on Earth. Why will they try to just give that energy back in exploration? As soon as they get, let's say, an energy source, because we're just going to use it in Earth to, because we are running out of coal mines. We might even run out of nuclear mines. So and maybe solar energy won't be enough to sustain us. So that's what our plan will be, right? If you want to send people so far away, your plan would be solar sail, I guess, right? Or else you just want to, yeah, solar sail, right? Or else
Yeah,
how are you
yeah.
going to get that much fuel? Yeah.
Okay, no,
So
hypothetically, let's say solar cell.
so my point is it's so far away that is one issue. I'm saying we're not even going to go to Mars. We're going to go there, we're going to explore, and it's like so in hospitable. There's going to be no chance. There's no that magnetic ionosphere or something to repel the sun's beta particles, whatever. So that's not even there on Mars. So that's not the planet we should be looking at, because we're not going to go there and make an ozone layer. We're not going to go. We're not like, it's going to be impossible, close to it's going to be not impossible, it's going to be extremely hard. That's like technology way in the future. You're saying you can terraform a place but not fix a place. That's my point. You're saying you can build a house but not renovate a house. That's essentially.
Again, I'm
Yeah,
I'm
what else?
saying I'm saying you can do both simultaneously, but
Yes,
my
but that's what
point
we are
is,
doing. But our main priority should be saving the house. Only then let's say we burn down the house by not spending enough resources on that, and we just
why,
go.
when you save the house, will you ever want to leave? I mean, all I'm saying is this is like what's happening is good for like it's the best thing that could happen. We're at this point where you can sit down and realize
So we would
what
want
we
to
want
live,
to
right?
do.
Explore. You would want to explore space. I'm not sure you want to live there in space. Would let's say like 100 people are there? Would they want to live in the ISS? Like what is ISS?
So
Don't cut this part out. ISS.
no,
Yeah. you, you think they want to live at the ISS?
I'd
Like
say that again. 100 people. Do they want to live in the ISS?
like you just ask people, and at the moment, do you think they would even want to live at the ISS, like the International Space Station?
I'll flip
There
that
should be
question.
extreme amount of training, right?
Do you think the number of people that want to live on the ISS now will be greater than or lesser than the number that would want to live 50 years down the line? I can bet you it's going to be greater than. I don't think
It's going to
50
be
years
great. I
down the
agree.
line.
I agree. People are just want to go. I want to go to the ISS. Many people will be there like that. But you need extremely trained astronauts first. Like
No. You're not understanding why that difference will be created. That difference will
you
be
need so
created
much.
because
Like anybody will go not to ISS. Why do you think
no.
NASA has like so much?
Okay,
First of
so
all, you need to train.
supposing, so I'll flip that question. Supposing there are 100 people are taking, okay, you're gonna give
Hmm.
them a 5 hour talk on explaining them everything that they have to go through. 5 years of training, these many rigorous nights, these many camps for them to go to
Hmm.
space. Let's say today
For
50
them to go
people
to space and
say,
return, I guess.
huh,
Hmm.
huh, huh, huh. for them to go for a normal space like mission
How many years?
for 1 month, and they have to come back. Okay,
Yeah,
and
anybody would go.
no, no,
Anybody
no,
would
no,
go.
no. Okay, okay, fine. Okay, one
Like
second.
50%
Let's
will
see.
go.
Huh, exactly. That's my point. Let's say 50 people say yes. 50
Hmm.
years down the line, when people have much more like well lived out lives, they have every single fantasy they can dream of 100 years on. Everything that they want is readily available. Do you think that number is going to be
We're never
50, or
going
do
to
you think
have
the
it.
number is going to
And
be?
we're never going to have that. It's a society. There'll be poorest of poor people. But still, I'm saying even they will not want to leave. But even if they want to leave, why would a person like a proper business, they would want to take the richest
No,
people,
no,
right?
you're
To space.
saying, huh?
They would want to take the richest people, right? To space.
That's
Because they're
space
going to get.
tourism.
So
That's not
even
space
as colonization,
exploration.
okay,
No, I don't
exploration
think. Are
tourism.
you saying when you go to colonize, you take the richest person? I think the richest person is the last guy to leave. I think the richest
Initially,
person is the
no, no,
first.
no, no. I guess not. I
No,
guess not. You should take the astronauts and all first, trained
yeah.
people. But I'm not
Then you
sure
take
anybody else
common
would even
people.
want to go. Anybody else would even want to go, because it doesn't matter 5 year training you do, doesn't matter. You need extreme amount of qualification, right? To even attempt to go to the moon, for no, to not even moon, to even go to space.
Okay,
Yeah, not space.
fine.
I
I
guess you
mean,
can
see
go to
clearly.
space. Live on space. Live in space. Live in space. You need to
Okay,
go
fine.
through so much
I
rigorous
think
training.
no, no, no. I get what you're saying. I like agree with like that. Definitely social
My
restrictions
point is, we
and
aren't even able to live in Antarctica. Where is Mars? Like that's so far away in our
okay,
social.
but
Hmm.
see the place where I differ with you is that I believe the way to get to living in Antarctica or living in Mars is that you invest and you realize like, look, this is the common goal that we
Agreed,
all
agreed,
want to
agreed. My
reach.
point is, our first aim should be to save the house, and yeah, this space exploration thing will be going on in the background. But once
I
you
don't.
realize you can fix
So
the earth, then why would you not
I
want to
think.
leave?
Wait, one second, one second. What did you say? What's the last statement?
Like, once you like you're fixing the earth, let's say, sorry, fixing the house, let's say, you maybe you realize at some point that you it can't be fixed. Then yes, then you spend all your resources, because you'll still and go wherever you're going. That's my point. Like, you should okay, we leave a burning house. I don't think that is that makes us qualified enough to colonize a planet,
I'll tell
another
you.
house.
So I think we disagree on like a basic principle. So I'll just summarize. You're saying that if we first try to fix the Earth itself, and then on the background at the same time, if we're working on space exploration, when the Earth itself is fixed, then we change focus and go into space exploration.
No, no, no. Well, if the Earth is fixed, there's no real reason for us to go and do space colonization, not exploration. Colonization. Once you're sure Earth is safe for next 500 years or something, why would you even want to colonize space? Maximum to maximum, you will try to get asteroid deflection techniques. That's what you will do, and then you'll just explore space. You'll just
And then
send people
what's
to
your
space. You'll do
purpose?
asteroid
What's your
mining.
purpose? No, what's your purpose as a civilization? Like you're gonna sit here and
Yes, we'll
trade
just keep. I mean,
stocks.
it'll take ages to get technology, right? So we're just gonna do research in random fields, and it's all gonna come together. Is my point. Like so a guy is doing medicine. That's very important to the society. Where guy is doing, let's say, condensed matter. Let's just say he's doing making a supercapacitor. You'd think there's no use of that. I mean, there is a use, but like they're making electric cars. Let us say so let's say whole earth becomes electric, like there's no fuel emission, and then we become carbon neutral. We are moving towards that, right? If that works, why would you need to colonize any other planet, first of all, other than for curiosity? Why would you
Look,
need,
I mean,
if
at
my point is, if you
some
can fix the
point,
house, I have no issue with
hmm,
leaving, because then we have proved ourselves as a civilization that we are culturally and advanced enough, and our infrastructure is good enough. Then I agree, then you leave, because then you won't go and burn down another house. Is my point. Like, you're not going to take your problems with you, social problems with you, is my point. We are going to move towards that, but that's my whole thing.
no, I think that makes sense. No, I think we were like I get what you're saying. Like you're saying that first, if you like, I agree to the point that if you've not proven yourself as a civilization that you fixed your own planet, then you don't have the right to go and try some
Mhm.
random things in other planets. Right? That makes sense. But again, I think as 200 years later, if the Earth itself is safe, and then we all are just like, I mean, you're again, when you're saying you're doing research for supercapacitors, I think as a species you need to have like an end goal, like not 500 years later, where do we see ourselves at the end of ourselves as like a civilization? Where do we want to be? Like, do we just want to die out here? Because then fair enough, we're going like down the right
You
path.
don't want
Like,
to die out here. My point is, yeah, my point is fix the house. Then gradually is gonna go on, and then you can go because it's not that bad. It's really bad global warming, but it might be fixed. Like if you put your research efforts there, I think once you fix that, then you can focus on let's go to what do you mean hyper speeds stuff like that, so that you
yeah,
can go to other galaxies and all. But yeah, so I think we are having a similar philosophy, to be honest.
yeah, yeah.
We
I
are having
think
a
it's
similar
just I
philosophy.
think it's just that when
Do
the
you want to
house
debate?
is fire. No, I think it's the end of the debate. I think when the house is fire is extinguished, you don't see a reason to leave until we're able to. For me, the house being on fire is itself the best reason to leave.
Okay,
I
okay.
think
So yeah, so
that
my
ends the
yeah,
debate.
yes, yeah, okay.
No, I think
Ends the debate.
it's been a good debate.
It's been
It's
a
been a
good
long
random
debate.
debate. Not long, yeah, long debate with random points. So, hope you
No, but I
enjoyed
think
it.
it's been nice. It's been nice. Yeah. I hope everyone
And
watching
please,
enjoyed it.
please, I think my email might be in the description. Please give me tips to learn English. It's very bad.
Aviram wants English learning tips, but sure,
Yeah, you guys
definitely.
are from Cathedral and all, no? So give me nice tips.
Yeah, sure.